Welcome to The Problem, a Lockwood and Co podcast. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Alan.
I took like a
Do I have a mouthful of tea?
Break.
That's good.
Let's just leave that. That's fine. I feel like today we're not getting any better.
It's fine.
And today we are discussing part 2 of part 5, Fittes' house, wherein my favorite part of the whole book takes place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You talked about it. Yeah, it's great.
This was the whole point of doing this podcast. That's not true at all, but I am excited. I don't have a good... This is going to be the most uncomfortable recording for me.
You're like in a weird yoga position.
It kind of... It's like I'm cradling my mic in my arms.
Yeah, it's terrible. That doesn't sound good at all.
But the other way I had it was like me facing the mic, but with my book out to the side, and my neck didn't like that at all. So anyways, here we are. Chapter 25. No chatting this time. Only pain.
Just know what, you listen to this podcast, but you have no idea what it takes. You just don't know what we put into it.
This doesn't even have anything to do with the podcast. This is just pain that I put on myself. I didn't have to. Anyways, everything's a mess. Chapter 25. Marissa explains the truth to Lucy and then tries to kill her. Because that's what the truth, I was trying to make a joke there about being honest, and I just couldn't do it. Honesty and then murder, that feels right to me is what I'm saying. Yeah,
you want to confess before you off someone. You want them to really understand why you're doing it.
I just more mean that, that's what it takes for anybody in these books to be true to themselves and to truly express their inner soul, literally in this case, to someone, that they gotta kill them.
Yeah. The English are very repressed. They're like, now that you know me, you must die.
Exactly. The chapter art. Oh, you know what? I looked up the clearer image of the next chapter art, but I didn't. I wonder what that actually looks like. Because it's a glimpse into the cabinet with the dead body in it, and I assume you can see the dead body in there.
I can see it.
I kind of get an arm.
I can see a face. I can even see a little bit of the brace that's holding it together.
I guess maybe.
You can see the eyes.
But I will say, not quite being able to make it out makes it super creepy.
It's very creepy.
I don't like that I just could see the eyes. That's not for me.
Yeah, because last time Lucy was backing up to this closet and she was like, I hope there's a gun in there. And then she pulls it open and screams. And that's the end of the chapter. And so we get to see, it's kind of cool, right? You flip the page and then you also see into the closet before you get to read. Mm-hmm. Why did she scream?
I mean,
and the first line is it was a body.
Yeah. In the physical book, you don't have to turn the page. It's just right there. It's, it's on the end of the previous chapters on the left.
Well, in the English ones, we talked about, it's a whole page illustration, right? So you'd be able to see it there.
Weird. So yeah, it's a body. She opens it up. And then there has this bit where Lucy is describing it, and she says, it was so unexpected, in part because it was so horrible, and in part because it undermined everything I thought I knew. And I was just like, in what way? You knew the body was missing. I get that maybe you thought that Penelope was the body, but...
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
But I mean, this couldn't have been that out there, you knew the body was missing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This is supposed to be a jump scare twist, right? It's supposed to be
but
wow.
Even if what Lucy thought was true and Marissa was still in Marissa's body, we know Penelope existed. She would have birth certificates and stuff. So there would be a body is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Even if it wasn't Marissa. I don't know. She seemed way too shocked about finding a body.
Yeah, I think it's also the weirdness of how the body is
That's
it's not
fair.
just a body in there. It's there's a weird golden stand thing that it's got screws and braces and it's holding it up in there, but it's also in a closet. I don't know, it would be one thing, I guess. like they have the trophies in the the 9 pillars
Yeah.
and all that stuff with the sources. It would be like one thing if it was like hanging on her wall, like, oh, there's a weird body. It must be like one of her famous cases. But no, it's like stuffed in the closet. It's just like not what you would expect, I guess.
Yeah. And then as we go on, it turns out that Skull also just assumed that Marissa was still in Marissa's body and that that's the immortality that she had found, which,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems weird to me because Skull met original Marissa and she does look different now, which he also talked about.
Yeah, and I think it's also set up by George talking about like, and then this Penelope woman comes from nowhere and just seems totally made up. And so I think like he wants this to be a twist.
Oh,
So
I don't think it ever was
like,
for me.
Yeah, whether it works or not, I guess. Yeah, I think, and Skull says like, I don't like, he's like, I'm colorblind, but like I'm body blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just don't see body as I see true essence. And so he was like, that's Marissa. I don't know. Like whether she has on a yellow shirt or a green shirt, that's Marissa. I don't know what to tell you. That's just a body. I don't look at those things.
Hilarious. But basically, I don't know, Marissa starts trying to explain about how it was her spirit that grew powerful, but her body grew prematurely old, which we've seen hints of with Lucy and Lockwood.
Lucy and Lockwood.
Yeah.
It's also like it reminded me of the cannibal guy
From book 4?
Yeah, like the idea of the cannibal that we talked about, like, eating bodies would make you, like the guy was huge and everything and like really powerful. And it's like she's like a spiritual cannibal or something, like eating this essence. Yeah, like made her like really powerful somehow. It seems like she's consuming it. We're not totally clear about.
Yeah, the books never really go into it.
Yeah, I don't understand totally what's happening. Maybe she's like adding it to her own essence and like assimilating it. So like you would just have like I don't know, like a cup full of ectoplasm, but she has like a bucket. I don't know.
I like to think that she puts it in her morning coffee. She's English. She puts it in her tea.
Yeah.
Keeps it in the fridge like milk.
Nice. Terrible. So
and
gross.
Has some like dried that she uses like sugar.
Yeah, but she's explaining all this, right? It's like a little, and Ezekiel's like, hey, what do you like? She's not.
We can just
need
kill
to kill
her.
this girl.
We don't need to explain everything first.
What are you doing?
We don't need to monologue. But Marissa,
what is she doing? Like, why is she doing this?
Well, I think to some degree this kind of makes sense to me. Well, like, no, it doesn't. Because obviously Stroud wants us to know, and that's why he's explaining. Or that's why
I'm
Marissa
okay with that.
is explaining. That's fine. But also, nobody really knows at all. Nobody knows what Marissa did.
Oh, so it's, she like wants an audience. She wants
to show off that she solved immortality or whatever. I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We talked about in the, with bringing up the cannibal again, I was like, what was her plan? Like, why did Lucy need to be there? And like, it seems like she's throwing Lucy away here. Does she need Lucy's body to be the next body, or does that not matter?
Well, we don't know what her plan afterwards was.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she's in Penelope's body, but she already drove out the spirit. So we don't know what it takes. Like, that, we don't know the details of that. She could still potentially use Lucy's body. Without.
Oh, like if she killed her somehow, you mean? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like,
or maybe she just felt that she had time to find somebody else.
Yeah. It would kind of make sense to me if she had like we talked about last time, like what if she had hired her before Lockwood and Co. and like groomed her into a protege that could take over the company, and then she like takes over Lucy.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me. But her plan for Lucy seems erratic. Like, Lucy's up here, she's a threat, Ezekiel's like, we gotta kill her. But Marissa seems drawn to her and like really is trying to be like, we're the same, you and I, and understand where I'm coming from. This is what I did and this is what's going on. And she's like really reaching out to Lucy. And she doesn't need to do that because Lucy is like, she doesn't have her on the ropes or anything. She's like, if anything, you know, she has Lucy in the palm of her hand right now. So it's just, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what she's reaching for. If she's trying, if some part of her is trying to get away from Ezekiel, or
No,
if she
I
just,
genuinely just think she wanted to tell somebody what she'd done.
yeah, I think that's right.
Also, though, like, things are blowing up. People are finding the basement. You know, Deepak is, we learn later that Deepak is there.
Yeah.
It's possible that a part of her knows it's all coming down.
Yeah.
You know, and she's just wanting somebody to know the truth before she goes.
Confession, yeah.
Although we talked last time that how maybe she doesn't know what's going on downstairs, so that could be completely wrong.
I think there's something to it though, because she was like, Gail is dead, your security is gone.
Right,
You
yeah.
know. There's this other thing that happens here where she's like, you know, she tells Lucy, a mortal body always fails you. And then she like does this crazy cinematic thing that Stroud describes where it's like her spirit pulls out of the body.
Yeah.
And it's all like, it says it's like smudged and distorted, and then there's like two faces and it's like a body coming out of the body. Like, so like, I guess, is Marissa like a type 3 now? Is she?
That's what I think of it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Probably maybe a type 4, like a brand new thing.
Something else. Yeah. Because this almost feels to me the way that Skull makes a face over his skull. Like
Yes.
it's almost, yeah.
And there's a lot of talk later where okay, it's in the next chapter, but just because we're here, I think is it Lockwood? Yeah, so Lockwood says, you know, look what state he's left Marissa in, and some way her spirit's still bound to her body. And that sounds like a source.
Yeah. And somehow it's weird, right? Because I guess the closest that we've seen to this is in the beginning chapters of this where they have the wax dummy thing.
Right, yeah.
And the spirit is like in there and able to move it around, but it's not necessarily tied to it. And she's something like that. But it doesn't seem like she has, because we'll see later that type 3s have poltergeist-esque abilities, and it doesn't seem like she has that. So yeah, she seems to be something else.
But we don't ever see her outside of possessing a body. She might.
That's true. Yeah, maybe it takes everything you got to be in there.
It makes me wonder, like, would she physically have been able to have a child? You know, is that why?
Oh, crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, is that body alive? Is, like, what's going on? Like, maybe that's why she's realized that she needs to branch out, that she can't create her own replacement, as it were.
It does say, yeah, that's interesting. It says here that like while she's like pulled away like this, when there's like two kind of beings, it says the face of the woman known as Penelope Fittes hung slack and stupid, her breathing newly loud and ragged. So like the body seems to have its own automatic processes that she doesn't have to like cause its heart to beat and things like that. So yeah, but can it have a baby? That's, you know, in this world, like who knows? Would she just, there's got to be like some kind of ectoplasm for the baby to be a person, and she would probably just gobble that up somehow.
Yeah. Or yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, just the mechanics of it are fascinating. I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know, in terms of the plot and stuff, but these are the kind of details that like hang me up as a reader, where I'm just like, and it doesn't ruin anything. It's just intriguing, and like I think about it.
And then so they have this like shocks Skull, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
And then they have a conversation with Marissa about how Penelope was actually her granddaughter, and
even more monstrous.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I'm not sure, like, does that mean that she needs somebody with the talent? That's my perception, but
I wouldn't necessarily say she needs somebody with the talent in order to, like, move into a new body, but possibly she would need them in order to continue communicating with Ezekiel.
Which would be like a huge priority for
Yeah.
her. Yeah, that's probably right. Scary, the idea that she could like just jump into somebody and it would be a savage way to kill them. I don't know if the other body would die when she did that, if it would, you know.
Well, she says that she pushed Penelope's spirit out, and because her spirit is strong, right? Because she's been feeding it extra ectoplasm, presumably she has an advantage in whatever spirit battle. We're getting into weird territory here.
Yeah.
That would end up in.
Yeah, it reminds me of another book. I did a podcast about this book one time called Wild Seed. And there's a character in there. It's by Octavia Butler. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I reread it every year. And one of the main characters in the book is this kind of thing. He's like he moves from body to body. He can't control it. Well, he can control it, but like he can't help it. So like if the body is killed, somehow he will just automatically take over someone else's body. And it's the same thing. Like he destroys the spirit.
Right.
Yeah, and consumes it. It's a
that's
terrifying idea.
That's interesting because it made me think of that episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where we find out Giles's past with the demon.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's body jumping too. And then the way that they sort of decide to deal with it is having to jump into Angel because he's already got a demon.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, that was kind of hand wavy, but sure.
Right. Yeah, it's like there's something vampiric about the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing, though, yeah, this makes her weirder and more monstrous and stranger.
Less human, more ghost.
Less human, yeah.
Which is kind of funny, actually, because I think in these two chapters, Skull becomes a little more human and a little less ghost.
Yeah, that's true. When she talks about killing Penelope, I noted this down. It says, I killed the spirit by driving it out. And it's like it and not her, about her own granddaughter. Driving it out. I was just like, Jesus. Like everything is just objects to her, ends to means. She's just fully evil.
We also get a little bit about the in-between Fitz, Margaret, the daughter, not the granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
But just that she was weak and Marissa was upset during the time that Margaret was in charge.
Just what a great mom. What a great Jesus. Like, yeah, again, we don't talk about fathers at all, which is fine. It's just fascinating, right? That like this company is matrilineal completely, and there's just no like, where do these women come from? And it does make me wonder a little bit, like you said, like maybe she couldn't have a baby, but maybe she could have a baby on her own,
Well,
like
in her original body, I think she was just a
no,
normal person.
Like, with no partner.
Aged though.
But like a supernaturally created baby is what I'm saying. Like
once again, I feel like we are straying into strange waters here.
Yeah,
I guess. I just don't think that this is that type of story. You know what I mean?
It's just weird. Like I like it. I like that, and I don't even notice this when I'm reading. Like I don't even think about a father or like what happened.
No,
I'm sure they just
true.
got killed. Right? Like they got
or she
used
just
them up
slept
and
with some
away.
dude. Or it's Gale and he is also a ghost in a body, although how would he have died?
His source is his sword.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think your source can be one of the things that is like anti-ghost though. So
well, we don't know that his sword is silver.
It just looks that way, yeah.
But
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. Or iron or whatever the rapiers are.
She's a weirdo though. This has like all kinds of, I mean, I was thinking about like mind-body connections, but there's really not like enough here to really talk about that kind of thing. I think there's something later that's kind of interesting. I'll talk about it, I guess, when we get there with Ezekiel's source and stuff that Lockwood says. But I was like, I think what you said is right. Because I was like, wait a minute. So like she left her body and went into this other body and she killed Penelope. like the essence of Penelope. She drove the spirit out. And so like, what does that mean? Like Penelope has no more ghost now, right? Like, but the body still exists. So the I guess what I'm asking is like, what is the essential being in a Descartes kind of sense? You know, it seems like it's ectoplasm is the answer, but she's still tied to her body. But that might just be because it's a source and now she's a ghost. It could have been anything. It just
That's how
happens
I
to
think
be
of
her
it.
body. Yeah.
Because the book kind of implies that. And also, Lucy also has this idea, which is what happens next here, where because she pulls out the body and lets it drop to the floor, and it affects Marissa, Spirit
Right.
Marissa, Penelope Marissa.
Because Skull says, like, well, if she doesn't need her body anymore, why does she keep it?
Yeah.
You know, why not get rid of it? And so she's like, yeah. And one of the legs falls off, and then Marissa like screams in pain.
Yeah.
So is there, I don't know, is there a connection? Is she not merely a spirit? I don't know. It's unclear. She seems to be something else, which is fine. It's just as many answers as we get here, there's more mysteries and questions, which is kind of cool. I like that not everything is tied up with her and that she is a powerful, strange, uncanny, you know, creature.
I also like that. And also it answers all the plot questions, I feel, and it just leaves details up to your imagination, kind of. Mm-hmm. Which I think is fun. It's good, even.
I think at this point, though, it changes from there's been a lot of talking between these characters, and now this is like, now we're really gonna fight.
Yeah, Ezekiel goes kind of nuclear and sends Lucy flying, I think, kind of.
Yeah.
And like glass is breaking and blah blah blah, and then suddenly Skull is like, you know what you gotta do.
She takes cover behind a couch because he's like shooting the mirror at her, like shards of a mirror. Yeah, and Skull's like, it's time, baby. Let's do it.
You brought that hammer for a reason. And then he's, I do love, do you trust me? And she's like, yes, sort of. The best. And then, just my very favorite bit with, Marissa and Ezekiel looming down on her with 3 books behind us of Skull saying, you need to let me out. And all this conversation and her very dramatically pulling the hammer. And I remember the first time I read this, I thought it was going to happen, Skull was going to be released 100%. With that, I raised the hammer and struck it down against the jar with all my strength. And the stupid thing bounced off. So
it's like
good.
Boink. Yeah.
There was a slight chip in the glass, but otherwise all was as before. And immediately Skull's like, what are you doing? Don't tell me you can't break it. She's like, hold on. And she tries again. And it bounces away. And the Skull just being like, you are so useless.
In my mind, like Marissa and Ezekiel are just standing there like they were kind of creeping up on them for the coup de grace. And they're just like watching this, like, what is going on? Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a really hilarious, really great.
And it breaks a lot of the tension, obviously, but doesn't, like, it feels very true to the books.
Yeah. I wonder if they would have done this in the show because they aren't so jokey, but it's such a good moment. I don't know.
It's so good. We got so little of Skull in the show, and I didn't particularly like how they did him. So, like, I thought they made him way too serious.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
so
they would have had to swerve to get him to this point.
I don't know what their plan was there, to keep him that way or to I just don't know.
I know the voice actor for that character for Skull was a comedian. So my sense was that he was there to like, they did that to improv, to be funny later. But yeah, I don't know. It did make me think this whole thing of like, do you trust me? And this doesn't seem to be the plan, right? Like she did bring the hammer, but I don't know that this was like, maybe it was like the absolute last resort kind of a move. But it did make me think like way back to the beginning of the book when they had this like very like elaborate practiced plan for dealing with Marissa's body in the tomb. Like they had that chain out in 30 seconds and stuff, and
Right.
everybody had their roles and everything. But then this whole thing is like extremely improvisational and like unplanned. And I think it's kind of like better the way that Lucy's doing it here, because like in the beginning, they had these particular expectations about how it would go. And then because it didn't go that way, they let their guard down right away. They're like, oh, no problem. Actually, we were wrong. So no big deal. And then the ghost like pops out to get them. But like by not having expectations, Lucy is able to make like snap decisions and not be caught too off guard. I don't know. She's kind of losing here. So like, I don't, my argument's not really that great, but I don't know. This is also like the backhanded version of when you don't plan well, like
Yeah.
you can't break the thing. So I don't know.
Eventually, like, as Marissa and Ezekiel are planning to kill Lucy, and Lucy and Skull are just keep arguing, which is great. Marissa says, or starts threatening that after killing Lucy, she's gonna go and kill Tony. Jesus Christ, Caitlin, I'm gonna say that again.
A Tony.
I don't know what happened to my brain there. I was like, can't call him Anthony, and then I went to Tony. And how she's gonna go and kill Lockwood, and Ezekiel's gonna suck the flesh from their bones, which is fun. And of course, immediately Lockwood is like, or we could save us all a lot of trouble and finish this right here. And it's great. I'm so glad he got this like epic entrance.
Yeah. Was he standing there for 5 minutes? Was he like he's waiting for his moment?
One-sided threats because he can't hear Ezekiel, and the one-sided argument because he can't hear Skull.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He's like, something's happening, but I don't know. Doesn't seem like the right moment.
I like to think he waited, a little bit for the best moment there.
It's a great entrance though, and it's I don't know. It's really well done. Poking a little bit of fun at it, but I love it. Yeah, he's here, and she says it's everything I'd hoped for, everything I'd feared. So like the tension also ratchets up because like you've been saying the whole book, there's nothing that gives us the feeling that Lockwood is going to make it out of this okay. And a lot of foreshadowing has been building to like Lockwood might not live.
Yeah.
So like the stakes actually just got even higher with this moment, which is great. That's a great way to end a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to chapter 26, where Lockwood and Skull join the fight. But in the end, Marissa destroys herself.
Everyone's favorite way to go. Suicide.
She falls into the volcano because she's reaching for the ring.
The art on this one, okay. So when I first looked at it, I had no idea. Like, genuinely, I had nothing.
It's a nuclear bomb.
I didn't even see the jar shape at all.
Yeah.
I saw like some smoky stuff and what is the lid, but what looked like, I don't know what to me. Like, I had no idea what I was looking at. And I went to look up the clearer pictures that the other podcast lady sent to us.
Mm-hmm.
Which, thankful every day.
For clear pictures. Yeah.
For clear pictures. And I was like, oh, it's the jar broken with Skull. Okay, that makes sense. And now I can't see it. Once I looked it up, I was like, oh, that's actually quite clear there. But at first, I was like, this is just blur.
I think you can really see where she hit it with the hammer and it didn't go all the way through. It's kind of like a starburst.
No, I thought
crack.
That's the actual crack, isn't it? Because that's where the smoke's coming out.
To me, it looks like the smoke's coming out like right over where the skull is, and there's brighter white cracks like all around there, and like maybe missing glass and stuff. But yeah,
I don't know. Who?
It's very busy.
Who knows?
With smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Skull. It's Skull's thing open. So
broken. Yeah. Although, to be fair, with the jar, she has not drawn it as described. Like, there is no lever. There's
right.
no, it looks like you could put jam in that jar.
It does have
Skull
these
jam.
complicated screws on it and stuff now that I look at it.
Yeah, I guess there's that. But specifically, where's the lever? You know,
The
where's his
lever.
little talking hole?
It's not how I think of the
No.
thing at all. Yeah, but we get a portrait of Lockwood first thing because, you know, he showed up. So now we need to describe him. And this is like Battle-Damaged Lockwood,
Yeah.
you know, like the collectible action figure. He's like, his shirt's all destroyed, basically. He's basically like shirtless and he covered in scratches and bruises and blood. And he fought through hell to get back up here to
Yeah.
save Lucy.
I think it says one of his shoulders is steaming.
I love it.
I love
Way
that.
to go,
yeah.
dude.
Don't understand why, but I love it. It's very Ghostbusters.
It's great. It's what, you know, like it's I don't know, it's romantic.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
I love it.
Like,
It's great.
It's really good.
Yeah. I just think it's funny too, but I do like it.
Yeah.
His dramatic entrance here is very needed, I think, here at the end. We needed
It's
to
also
have
good
a
because we
Lockwood
like
moment.
have no idea what it took. Like you can just imagine whatever you want.
We don't actually know what he did. And I do like that him and Lucy have that moment where he's just like, "Hey Lucy, having fun?" She's like, "I'm having a lovely time." That's great.
There's so much. So there's a lot of like heavily underlined stuff in the Kindle edition because there is so much like LockLyle, you know, like here we are, I'm in love with him kind of stuff happening.
Yeah.
Where it talks about like, so she's still talking. At this point, she's still talking about how Lockwood looks. This goes on for like, for me, it's like almost 2 pages.
It is,
of,
yeah.
It's
it is
a
quite
lot.
a bit.
Which is fine. You know, like here he is. Let's do it. I think thematically, this is really important. It says, this is how your spirit stayed strong. This is how you looked death in the eye and defied it. In a direct contrast to what Marissa's doing. Like Lockwood is kind of living life to the fullest, you know, like he's not dodging death. He's like meeting it face to face and come what may, devil may care. Like it's very romantic and larger than life kind of stuff. And I think that's what the books, this, you know, like it's literally saying it right here. The books are saying like, this is what life is.
Yes.
But right after that, this very underlined line says, I understood all that as I sat against the wall, bloodied and defenseless, and I loved him for it. My heart sang. So people are way into her finally saying the L word.
I don't even necessarily read that as romantic love.
Yeah, she's like, I love him too for this. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's cool as shit. Like,
I'm good to go either way with it, I guess. Like, I just don't see it. The whole thing doesn't read as this being Lucy saying that yes, she is romantically in love with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Her heart sang, I think, really, for some people, it's like, yay, you know, like this is it.
I mean, I do think I do think she is romantically in love with him. I want to say that specifically, but I don't necessarily know if that's what's happening there.
Yeah. It's a hero moment for sure.
But I would believe it though if somebody told me that it was what's happening there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Could go either way.
Later on, the other really, really heavily highlighted, even more highlighted than that one, is another heart saying. It says, so my heart sang and my heart despaired, which was pretty much the usual combination for me whenever Lockwood was around.
Yeah.
It's so like that does feel a little bit more romantic, relation-y, you know, like relationship-y.
And everything that's been going on in the book too.
Yeah. You have your person that's like, yeah, I'm real up and down with this person, but it's worth it because like who they are to me.
Yes.
But yeah, Lockwood shows up and Skull is like, he's making like throwing up noises from their flirting that you're talking about. He's like, oh,
you two make me feel ill. But he does say, you know, he's got timing. Got to give him that.
Yeah.
That's great. But Lockwood has one of the guns, the electric guns and stuff. So, oh, and we should say that Lucy has this moment where she admits to herself that it wasn't just that she felt she needed to confront Marissa on her own. It was that specifically she wanted to beat Marissa without Lockwood so that he wouldn't have a chance to basically kill himself for his revenge / death wish thing.
Just in case these prophecies are real, like she can't know. So she's trying to defy fate if fate is real. Always a good plan if fate is real, to defy it. Yeah.
So then Lockwood shoots at Ezekiel with the lightning gun thingy. I don't think they're ever given a name. And so he gets over to Lucy by getting Ezekiel out of the way there. And they have a little conversation where we are assured that Kipps is probably going to live. Mm-hmm. Which, whatever.
It's okay.
And that Lucy is hurt and that she's bleeding. I don't know if we... Like, she mentioned there being, like, glass and blood and stuff, but we didn't really get she is injured.
Yeah, she had, like, when he was throwing the mirror at her, I think one of them, like, caught her along the side. Yeah. And she got hit in the face a little bit, but she's not, like,
she really
it's not like she got stabbed.
Yeah, but if with Lockwood showing up and I think something that's said later on when she goes to face Marissa, it feels like Lucy was downplaying it.
Yeah, she's got that wound in her side. It definitely like grazed her with a deep cut. But it's not like the kind of thing where like a shard of the mirror went into her chest or you know what I mean, or like her leg or something like that. Yeah. She's wounded, she's bloodied, but she's not like down or anything like that.
And then she very quickly sums up the situation for Lockwood by saying the ghost can shift stuff like a poltergeist. The source is on Marissa's arm, and Marissa's spirit is inside Penelope's body, but she's got her old body in that cupboard. And
he's like, nice summary.
Yeah, it's just good. Like, great.
Yeah, and then he tells her to wait here, and he's like, I know you won't listen, but I have to say it. Yeah. It's very cute. I like this a lot more than
yes, I do too. Yeah, that seems more flirty and like they're in their elements.
Big smiles on their faces. Yeah. Puppy dog eyes at each other while they're saying it. Yeah. We find out Barnes is here, like you said. Deeprax in the building.
Flo went and got them.
Yep. So that, the Avengers are assembled. Everybody's here.
And Lockwood goes off to fight Ezekiel, basically. And Lucy is going to go face off with Marissa. But first, as much as I loved the joke, I think I love this even better because it gives her this opportunity to choose to let Skull out without being forced to. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's so good. And even Skull, says, well, you won't need me anymore. Just leave me here or whatever. And then she gets like a sculpture or something and starts like bringing it down from above her head onto the jar. Yeah. And almost nearly crushes the skull with it, but breaks the glass and releases him. And he is out.
He's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Yeah, he can't believe it. Yeah, the changing it from necessity to a choice is huge. Yeah. Huge. And it's so good. It's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, this moment is really, really great. It's about friendship and trust instead of desperation. So
yeah. I really love Skull saying, I could do anything now. There's nothing to stop me. I'm free. I could kill you. I could kill Lockwood. And Lucy's just like, you could. That's up to you. And she leaves him to go.
And then she runs away.
Yeah. And that's great.
He goes to the fight, which is so good. Yeah. So she trusts him. She's just like, make your choices. I don't want to control you. And that is like that's the big difference between her and Marissa, right? Like Marissa wants to control everything. Ezekiel wants to be in control of her. And she is, everything is free with Lucy. She's like, make your own choices, be yourself. Yeah. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
And then I do love that wherever Marissa was like crawling around and she did indeed find a cupboard or something with a secret compartment with a sword hidden in it. So Lucy was right. There was hidden weapons somewhere. She just...
It's just the wrong spot.
Wrong spot. But basically they have a duel off. I guess you just call it a duel.
She's like, Marissa, let's have a duel off. And she's like, what are you talking about?
But I enjoy that Marissa tries to like scare Lucy beforehand by saying that she's bleeding to death, or she says, I think you're dying. And Lucy says, like, you're an expert on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was good.
She also plays some psychological warfare. She's like, hey, do you remember Neil Clark? Because he remembers you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really excited to talk to you again. The guy in the Fittes Memorial Trapped Museum place. And yeah, she also, Marissa tries to freak Lucy out by being like, I invented sword fighting. You're no match. And she's like, that was 50 years ago in a different body, bitch. Like, bring it. Let's see how this goes.
But also, it's so crazy for her to say, I invented this. It's sword fighting. It's wild. Especially since I guess technically Lucy is fighting a ghost, but you know what I mean. It's
yeah.
Anyways, it's dumb. Eventually Marissa finds that she is losing and she yells at Ezekiel for help because she's lame, I guess.
Yep.
And we do find that Lockwood has injured the ghost, but he is still a ghost, so.
And his batteries are getting low on the electric gun, so he's not able to keep up the fight.
Yeah. So Ezekiel is about to go all poltergeist on them when Skull goes poltergeist back on Ezekiel.
It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
Like Ezekiel like throws one of the ugly sofas across the room to decapitate Lockwood and Lucy, and they like brace for the impact and look away, but it never happens. And you see that Skull has his hand up and it's turned into like a force battle between the two poltergeists.
And presumably, the couch stops like an inch from their heads.
Right. It's great. Really, really good. And it it pays off this whole thing. Like Skull could make any choice at all here. And he saves Lucy.
It also pays off how, the last chapters, Marissa and Ezekiel were calling him like type 1 ghosts, like a lurker and a phantasm and all those sort of thing. And it turns out that he just easily trounces Ezekiel.
He seems much more powerful, but to be fair, like Ezekiel's been getting shot over and over. So yeah, his batteries are full. He's been sitting in that jar this whole time. Yeah,
that's true. But I do like the idea that maybe he wasn't locked up in the jar because he was annoying. He was locked up because he was powerful.
Powerful, yeah. I think that's true. Yeah, he definitely, he throws the sofa away. Like in my mind, it like explodes against the wall.
Exploding couches.
Yeah, he's just like, boom, just like tears it apart.
Yeah.
And then Ezekiel is all this like, you foul spirit, you dare to defy me. Like he's a 1930s villain or something. And he's like, what kind of line is that?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine being trapped with this guy for eternity? Like, I love Skull so much.
He's the best. And then Lucy gets the bracelet off Marissa and gets it into a silver net. So Ezekiel is gone. And then Lockwood is like, well, that one's straight for the furnaces tomorrow. Which is so weird to think of, like, just going back to everyday life after this. You know, like they're gonna drop off their sources from the job the night before. Which was bringing down Fittes.
There was a part of me that was very much like, I don't know, like the One Ring. I was like, should you throw it away? There's so much power. Like,
that is actually kind of funny that they have to throw it into the fire.
Yeah. But yeah, they just throw it. They've taken care of it. I love how it's, since book 1, we know how to deal with this and it works. It's just like, whoop, he's just gone and it's all over. But yeah, and then they think they just have Marissa in hand.
Yeah. And this is where they have the conversation about her dead body or whatever. And
right. Where
they mention how her spirit is still bound
Lockwood's
to it
like, in some way, her spirit is still bound to her body since she refused to die. since she's in some sense still alive, this object must still be alive too.
Yeah.
And then Lockwood's like, I don't want to think about philosophy. Uh, yeah. So it's weird how I think there's something about like, there's physical objects in our living world. And so they need to be tied to something in the living world in order to pass through that when they have no physical substance.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a world of no substance. This is a world of substance. And there needs to be something attaching you to them. I don't think that means that the bracelet is alive, but I get what he's saying.
It does sort of say something about sources, though, because they do have to destroy them to get rid of the ghosts. So I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting.
And we know from... Oh, go ahead.
Well, just because there are rumors that could be completely fan made up, I don't know any truth in them, about Stroud possibly doing a 6th book. I just like that there's all these questions that are left, all these things that he could explore.
Yeah, there's lots of possibilities. Because we even have those objects in the first book from the interview that weren't necessarily haunted, but she could still pick up, like stuff from them.
Yes.
There wasn't like a ghost, right? So like in some way, those objects have a psychic life or some connection to something that is like beyond, like just being objects made of atoms, and they don't have ectoplasm. So there's something to what he's saying. And I think it's like kind of Stroud's last chance to kind of give that crumb to the reader and be like, here's my idea of how this world works. But like, yeah, the implications are kind of huge, but like too philosophically muddy for me to talk about. But it is like you said, it's intriguing. Like you could go off on your own thing. And I think Stroud wants people to do that and like write your own fiction and be inspired by it and have your own ideas.
Yeah. It's also just interesting world building, leaving it up to the reader.
Yeah.
In not a bad way. Because I feel like that's a tight line to toe, It's
really hard.
Yeah. But then we get this really great conversation between Lucy and Skull, where she thanks him for saving them. And he's like, yeah, it's just a one-off. Don't expect it again.
I'm cool. Don't worry about me.
And she says, so what are you going to do now? And she's like, you could stay with us a little while longer. And he says, like, what, just hang out with you? Become an associate member of Lockwood and Co? No, that would be plain odd. But I think that's what they want to have happen.
I mean, what can he do? Maybe he can move his source around so he could, like he can poltergeist stuff. I guess he could go anywhere that he wanted, but like, what would he do really?
Well, Lucy does also say that he could choose to move on.
Oh, true. Yeah. I mean, like if he's going to stay in the world though, like he's like, I wouldn't join Lockwood and Co. But like, dude, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like that's a real question you have to ask yourself that I don't think Skull has confronted now.
They could put his skull in the Black Library or whatever it's called, and he could just haunt Fittes' house. That, like, if he wasn't going to do Lockwood and Co., that's what I would want.
Mm-hmm.
But
he would become the new head of DPRAC.
Yeah.
Like...
Yes. The secret ghost upstairs.
Right.
Or on the top floor. But none of that matters because Marissa unveils a bomb.
Yeah. This is a little, I'm like, whatever. Like plot wise, I like the way that this forces a series of decisions and brings a lot of like the emotional themes of the book and maybe even the series to like a very tight quilting point.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's just like nuclear bomb, like I'm like, okay.
Not just that, but like I feel like this scene would work a lot better in visual media because they have a whole conversation here and it's like the bomb had like you both could have run in this time. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's like go and she's like no, I must stay. And yeah. It's like,
and like it works. It's fine. I like it, but it does sort of feel like you both could have gotten out of here in this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that he's holding Marissa so that she doesn't chase after them, throw the bomb at them, whatever the plan was.
And she says it's a bomb that's so big it will destroy an entire block It's like a bunker buster. It's gonna take the whole building out, is what
Does
she
she say?
claims.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, can level a whole block. 20 seconds. Say your goodbyes. You're both coming with me.
So even if they got out, like the building might collapse on them, or it might kill all their friends who are in the building as well. So it's like, I don't know. Like the real point of it is that it brings all of this stuff to a head. Like, what choices
Yeah.
do the characters make? And
The-
Lockwood chooses to protect Lucy no matter what,
By
even
dying.
if it costs him his life.
And Lucy decides to just die with him.
Right.
Which
There's no
is-
future without him.
Yeah. Which is interesting and kind of like, I get what happened here and why it happened, and that she was more saying, I'm not leaving if you're not leaving. Like, I'm not leaving without you, not I also want to die. But it kind of goes back on everything that she's been telling him all this time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
about choosing to live, because then she doesn't choose to live.
Oh, like she's a hypocrite. Is
Yeah.
what you mean.
Not a hypocrite, but just like it, well, I guess maybe. But like it feels against her whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think there's it's the classic thing of like your life, you almost die, or you get like a, like a diagnosis or something, and then all of your priorities realign, right? Like,
Right.
so she's confronted with this, you're going to die in 20 seconds. What are your priorities here? And it's be with Lockwood. Like, there is no future without Lockwood.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It just feels odd to choose to die.
Yeah. Well, here's
Not,
what it says.
After everything that she's been trying to convince Lockwood of, specifically.
I agree. Yeah. Well, and okay. So here's how it goes. So Lockwood turns to her. He says, Lucy, run. I'll hold her. You can make it for the elevator. No, Lockwood. And he's, go, Lucy. Do what you're told for once. Please save yourself for me. And she says, no, I can't. And I couldn't leave him. What would I be running for? What would I be running towards? A world where the prophecies of evil ghosts come true, where dark predictions were fulfilled, where a third neat headstone sat atop a newly turned grave in a long abandoned cemetery, where all my fears were realized and all light gone. A world without him. I couldn't run. So like, yeah, that's a world of darkness for her emotionally. So she's just like, I would rather stay in the light and die. I don't know. I think that lines up with what it said earlier, where Lockwood, Battle-Damage Lockwood is like standing there defiant. He's probably going to die against this type 3 ghost and Marissa Fittes, but he's there anyway, meeting it, moment for moment. And if he dies come what may, it's the same kind of thing. It's worth being here with him if this is the last moment of her life.
I agree with all that, but it does sort of like, and I even like it. I think it works, but it is exactly what she was trying to convince Lockwood not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted to be with his family, with the people that he associated with goodness and happiness,
That's
and
true.
having
That's true.
and it was her choosing to be with Lockwood instead of living on without him.
It is like she goes into his emotional space. Yeah, that's really true.
So I'm not saying it's bad or wrong in any way. I'm just saying it's interesting because she immediately chooses exactly what she was afraid of Lockwood choosing.
Yeah, maybe she understands him better because of this too. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
But none of that matters because Skull says, "Oh, for Pete's sake."
It's so good. Oh my God. The first time I read this, it was every moment, like it's just like combination punches to the face. He's just like, bop, bop, bop. Like, you thought everything was okay? No, I'm going to blow up the whole block. Lockwood's going to die? No. Like, that's been a possibility for the whole book, and I've been worried about it. And now Lucy's going to die? No. And now it's like, oh God, Skull is going to die. So it was, I don't know. This is just so well done, I think.
Yeah. I didn't even think, like, the first time I read this, when he says, "Oh, for Pete's sake," I didn't even think, oh, Skull is gonna die. I just picture him rolling his eyes at how dramatic they're being, you know? And then is like, brace yourselves, and just sends them flying out with his poltergeist powers.
Mm-hmm. He kind of does the thing that you were saying, that like, if you wouldn't have this dramatic conversation, you would have time to get away.
Yeah.
You know? Like, please run away.
And then, so he throws them out, and then it explodes. And bad things, like, the building does sort of start to come down around them, but they do survive.
Yeah, I see this as like him pushing the explosion away with like poltergeist powers. Like he makes it blow out away from the building and like upwards and stuff. I
gotcha. That makes, you know what? I'm good with that, because I was like, they're down the hallway. I think it would still get them.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should. This should kill them. But I feel like Skull, like, I guess it doesn't say that, but that's how I've always imagined it.
I'm fine with that, because otherwise it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of smoke, and Lucy realizes, like, because she can feel Lockwood moving, and then she realizes that she left the skull in where the explosion was, lying on the table.
Right. So, yeah, the source would have been in this fire that is as bad as the furnaces, right? Skull has sacrificed himself to save Lucy, and I guess Lockwood too.
I think Lockwood was more like he was saving Lucy's happiness. You know, he did not care if Lockwood lived in and of himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, Skull. Again, I guess. Heroic death.
Should have been Kip's.
It should have been. I think Skull feels that way too.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, that's kind of the end of the plot in a lot of ways. Like, we, confronted the source of the problem and uncovered all the mysteries behind it and trapped Ezekiel, killed Marissa, and at great sacrifice, it took out Skull. And not the twist that, like, I think Stroud did a great job of, and Kipps was a part of it too, right? Like, of building up the possibility that somebody on the team could die and then kind of snatching that back at the last second. And we were like, woo, I thought Lockwood was going to eat it there for a second. Oh my God, he is going to die. And then at the last second, Skull steps in. And I think he does a good job of hiding that twist, but it does make sense. And he did everything that he needed to do for it to emotionally make sense and, and feel satisfying.
Yeah, I think it's really great writing, and I'm ready for him to ruin it next week.
So. Right, yeah.
I genuinely, I think this is extremely good, and then I think he throws it in the trash. Like, it's Skull being ready to die for Lucy is so, like, poetically the culmination of their whole relationship and everything, and it's so good. And then Stroud is just like, yeah, fuck that.
And her
so
freeing him and then her grief later. It's
exactly.
All, like,
it's
really,
so good.
Really good.
And I can't like it though as much as I did.
Yeah.
Which
just
we'll get into
mark out the last line of the book.
Yeah, exactly. Just black that out. It's so stupid. And he did it twice in one book. Like, come on. It just cheapens everything about what just happened with Skull. And, like, Skull's whole journey was about accepting his death.
Yeah. And it's weird to think of, like, a dead character dying, but this accomplishes that in such a crazy, awesome way.
But that's the thing. He belonged. He was supposed to be dead. Like, this isn't... It's that's sad, it so obviously. Well. Skull is one of my favorite characters in it. I really love Skull. So I'm not saying it's not sad, but I'm saying it's right. That's how he was supposed to be.
That's good.
So it all works out so well, and then Stroud just backtracks on it, and it's so stupid.
I don't know how you feel about it, but yeah. Yeah.
Like, if he does write a 6th book, if Skull is there, I will. Well, I mean, I'll like it, but I'll be pissed. Like, no.
I agree. I wouldn't like that. I think there's some ambiguity at the end, but I think it's clear what the intention is. Or
I think it's so, and it doesn't make any sense because what's going to happen in 3 years when Lucy can't hear him anymore? You know, like,
yeah,
what? It's then what? He's just going to
Well-
quietly die? I don't.
I figure that, like it talked about how she's been to the other side since then. And I think she's going to give, some of that ectoplasm face wash a try and, grow her spirit a little bit and keep her powers for the rest of her life. And she's not going to take over someone else's body probably, but she's, just a little bump.
That would be so hilarious if, like, there is this rumored 6th book and suddenly we're with a different team and it's, like, slowly revealed that actually they need to take down Lucy and Lockwood because they've
Lucy
gone
and Lockwood are the problem.
so evil.
They kicked out George. He's like helping to lead the rebellion.
Yeah.
That would be that's a very weird alt universe.
Can you
I
imagine
kind of
though,
like the dark couple though. That
yeah,
would
me
be
too. I love
fun.
it. I just love the idea of like Lockwood showing up, but them having a stupid little nickname for him, like Golden Blade or whatever the hell they called him, and us not knowing
Right.
it's him for a while. It'd be great.
It's the tattered coat.
Very Silas and Delilah Briarwood. No one's gonna get
That's
that
exactly
reference.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, best joke is like the
Oh, it's
Trying
skull
to-
in the jar. Yeah, there's no
of
question.
course. It's so good. And you can really see it in your mind too. So
So I'm so sad we'll never get that in a TV show.
yeah,
Like, that would have been so hilarious and so, like, especially for people who haven't read the book, obviously, such a twist because it's not. You're just not expecting it in that high stakes moment to pull
Right.
such a good joke. Like, it's such a good joke that it makes me think Stroud thought of it, 3 or 4 books ago, like from the beginning. He's been
Yeah.
building to this joke. It's so good.
it's always the way with jars. Like you can never open the damn things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then I think punk rock is her choosing to let him out,
yeah, I think that's right.
right?
I
Like,
think that's right. When there's no necessary reason for it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it, man. Go live. Go do what you want.
yeah.
Who knows how this is going to turn out.
And I like that our silly little thing kind of poetically ends there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have one more episode in the books, but you know what I mean. Like, it kind of really brings them both together there, being about Skull getting out.
Yep. It is the most punk rock. I don't think that we really have any more punk rock moments in this book, to be honest. And it might be the most punk rock thing, short of breaking into the Orpheus Society and murdering them all.
Oh yeah, the old people murder is peak punk rock.
Yeah.
Literally taking down the man.
But yeah, letting your friend out of jail right in front of the jailer is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time we will be crying about Skull for 2.5 hours. It'll be the whole rest of this book. Whatever.
I plan to spend some time talking about what a coward Lockwood is, but
Good.
and maybe a little bit Stroud too. Like here's
Just
a man
like
who
really burn all these bridges.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's a man who just doesn't think he can write a kiss. Like.
That's funny. I was trying to think if there's a kiss in Scarlet and Brown, but I don't.
There
think
is not.
any.
I did finally read the
There's
third
not.
one earlier. It was really good.
Yeah, it's good.
But if you want to get in one of your very last chances to criticize us on always wanting the characters to die, you can contact us on Twitter at Lockwood Podcast. And if you want to contact me in particular, you can do so on Blue Sky at Inferior Caitlin.
I mean, the bomb should have blown up and killed Lockwood and Lucy and Flo and Barnes. I mean, that would have been a better book, clearly. And if you don't agree, you can send your emails to contact@hollowgroundmedia.com, or you can go to the contact page at hollowgroundmedia.com/contact.
Imagine the book where everybody dies except Barnes.
Like, I tried to tell them.
Yeah.
I showed them my ducks and they didn't care.
I forgot about his ducks. Amazing. And remember to always bring a special, like, jar opening grip thing with you. I have, like, 2 different ones, so that you can always get a jar open when you need it to. There is not. I did finally read the 3rd one earlier. It was really good. Oh, I was so pissed at the end when I thought that... Well, whatever. This is not about Scarlet and Brown, but... I was going to be extremely angry, and then I was not, and I was like, okay, thank you, Stroud.
I think the ending is really good.
No, it is
that
good.
Whole series.
I liked it a lot.
No complaints.
But no, there's basically no romance in that one. Like, I guess reading between the lines, you could see it, maybe.
Yeah.
But not really. And I haven't read his first series, the Bartimaeus one, however you pronounce that.
I'll tell you, if you like Skull's voice, so I haven't read Bartimaeus, but I have read like the beginning of Bartimaeus, like a free sample kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
And it begins, Bartimaeus is like a summoned spirit, like in a spirit circle.
Right, I did know that. I know the basic
entity. Yeah. And he is the Lucy of the book. So like he is the POV character. And the summoning that happens, this is like page 1, so this is no spoiler. The person like summoning him is like, oh, what art thou, Holy Spirit of blah blah blah, it's like very archaic, and he's like, hey bub, like he's like very Skull. He's very like modern in his vernacular, and he has like a very sardonic inner voice there's a lot of irony between the way that he talks to people and what he thinks about them. And it's very, very funny. So if you like Skull, you'd probably enjoy the tone of those books, at least from the first few pages.
I do plan to do them eventually.